Here's the truth about building a $1 million online coaching business. I've been able to generate around $1 million in sales with an audience of less than 5,000 people. And I've seen a lot of BS advice on what it takes to build a successful coaching business that's being thrown out there on the internet right now. And so in today's video, I'm going to expose the truth from my experience on what it takes to be able to build a profitable online coaching business. So whether your goal is to get to 20K per month or 30K per month or 50K per month or whatever K your heart desires, I'm going to show you what I have done and what I've learned to hopefully help save you time, headaches, and the agony that it often takes to be able to actually grow a successful business. So without further ado, let's dive on in. Now, I'm sure you've seen this out there right now, and hopefully you're not falling victim to believing some of this stuff, but these are bold-faced lies when people are like, it's super easy to grow an online business, right? People are often trying to sell you some shit when they're telling you that, right? Or you're just one funnel away, or just run ads, if you just put money behind it, or just hire a VA, or just use AI, right? It's not easy from my experience. That's what I've learned, right? And so these are all tactics. Like all these things that people are selling, a lot of times they're tactics and they can work for sure, but not without understanding this fundamental principle that it takes to grow a business. And I'm going to illustrate this point here, and then I'm going to walk you through some of the strategic and tactical things that I have done to be able to achieve success. So to illustrate this point, I'm going to take you back. This is about 15 to 17 years ago. I can't remember the exact date. Probably could if I think about it for a second. But I was standing so there was a bridge, right, that was overlooking part of the Gulf of Mexico. And below the bridge, there was this like high seawall. It was about 14 to 15 feet up high. And then there was the Gulf of Mexico below. And I was standing out there, and there was a group of kids. This was like 15 years ago. I'm 37 now. So I was in my, at that point, I was in my low 20s. And I was standing out there. I was with a girl that I was dating at the time, and this group of kids came over, or they weren't kids. They were like, whatever, in their 20s too. And out of nowhere, they shoved me off the bridge. And so I freaking flopped down. I'm literally, this is the middle of the night, by the way, right? So it's dark. This is around 11 p.m. And I am just like flailing out in the Gulf of Mexico, just like trying to get help. And they all flee, of course. And the girl that I was with, she fled too. She wasn't a winner, obviously. And I didn't know what to do. And so I was freaking out, and I was like trying to fight. There was like a current that was going on at that time. So it was like, I was trying to just stay afloat, and it was very rocky, and I was trying to reach up onto the seawall. Again, it was about 14 to 15 feet up high. And as I was trying to reach for the seawall, I just couldn't get it. I was like going about halfway up. And after about like 6 to 7 minutes of just fighting and trying to get up, I literally thought I was going to die. And I can remember this. Like, I remember just at that point, just like letting go, and not so much giving up, but I was surrendering. I was just like, I don't know what else to do. And I was giving up, and I thought I was going to get eaten by sharks, and I thought I was going to die. And like, that's like legit. And then out of nowhere, like the current starts to pick up, and a wave literally lifts me up to about halfway on the seawall, enough to where I was able to grab the top. And I had you could still see this scar right here on my arm where it dug into the seawall, and I was able to then get my hand above the seawall, and I was able to get myself up with blood oozing down my arm. I had this like white Hanes t-shirt on. I literally ripped my shirt off as this. I was like the Incredible Hulk, and I wrapped it around my arm, right? And it was able to essentially apply compression so I could get to the hospital because it was severely cut, like really bad in the wrist. And I learned a lesson that day. And you might be like, okay, Jason, that's crazy, but why are you telling me that story? Or I learned a really powerful lesson that day, that you have to be the cause. You have to be the cause. And I'm going to unpack that for you in just a second. This is a fundamental principle when it comes to growing a successful business. And when you can be the cause, the only reason I was able to survive, call it God, call it a higher power, was because I let go. I had faith, and I chose to be the cause. I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew I knew that I had to make it. Okay. And so here's what I've learned in business: to be the cause, right? Because most people are at the effect. They're like, my business isn't growing. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to start a business. I'm stuck at 10K. I'm stuck below 10K. I'm stuck at 20, whatever, right? And they're at the effect of what's happening. Why am I having inconsistent months with my revenue, right? And like they're out there just trying different tactics, right? The one funnel away type people, right? They're out there trying all these things that the gurus are spouting on the internet, when in fact, when you can become the freaking cause, you are literally using a universal principle, right? Of cause and effect. Just like gravity, right? If you like jump off of a building right now, you're going to fall because of the law of gravity. And so there's a law that it works in any case, and it's cause and effect, right? If you pinch yourself right now, it's going to probably hurt, right? You caused and the effect. And so in business, it's no different. So when you're trying to grow a profitable business, you want to look at like building the right skill sets. And I'll give you some of these skill sets that have helped me. The right mindsets, right? The right thinking, the right beliefs, the right character traits, and the right systems. When you have these three things in place, skill sets, mindsets, and systems, you're going to find that it's much easier to create the effect that you want. Again, whether that's 20K, 30K, 50K, 100K months, you're going to find it easier when you are adopting these things. Right? So some high-level skills. Let's go ahead and dive into these. Let's break down some skill sets. Let's break down some mindsets, and let's break down some systems that I have used to be able to succeed. So high-level skills are going to be things like marketing and sales. Right? And if you think about this, and we'll break it down to a micro level in just a second, marketing and sales is going to be things like offer creation, copywriting, speaking, communicating on video like this, right? You have to learn these things. And there's going to be micro skills under each. This is something I heavily teach inside the In-Demand Coach to my students, right? And the low level skills, or not low level, but like the smaller skills underneath are going to be like, persuasion, storytelling, which is kind of one and the same, right? And your ability to communicate your message in a way that connects with people, that captivates them, that keeps their attention, and that ultimately converts them, which we'll get into in just a second, right? And that's sales, right? And so to create your offer, let's go ahead and I'll give you a little breakdown under some of the more impactful skills and systems you need to learn. So to create your offer, you want to simply think like, how can I create something that is enticing and, for lack of better words, irresistible to the avatar that I'm trying to sell it to, right? And so you want to know, what's the promise? What's the thing that, like, if you said, hey, I'll help you lose 30 pounds of belly fat in the next 16 weeks, like, would that be enticing for people, right? Like for me, the promise of our In-Demand Coach program is I help people build 20 to 50K per month cash collected businesses every single month with working under 30 hours a week with one offer and having a tiny team, right? Because that's what I've done. And so when you have a good promise to your offer and a good process, right? The process is the vehicle you take them through, right? I teach people how to come up with conversion content campaigns. I teach people how to dial in their messaging. I teach people how to build reoccurring revenue systems in their business so they can retain clients and all that stuff, right? So the process, how are you leading people through? In my fitness business, it was through our stubborn fat solution. We had a 9-step process that we brought people through. You have to have a good process for an offer, right? And then you have to have a good price. Is the price going to match the market? And are you charging what you believe you're worth and what the market's going to pay, right? So having these things is crucial for an offer. So being able to create an offer is absolutely key. And there's way more to offer creation, but these are the big three: your promise, the process, and the price. When you match those things, you're going to be able to sell a lot of things to a lot of people and hopefully help make a lot of impact. Now, then you want to build a funnel, right? And you're not one funnel away, but you do need to build a funnel. And a funnel is a very trendy word. It's like saying the word nutrition, you know what I mean? But it's very big, and it can mean a lot of different things. What I mean, and what I have done and teach, and I still do to this day, is I have what's called a tribe funnel. A tribe funnel. And it's a really simple mechanism I've created where you are essentially attracting a tribe of people, of potential buyers, to one platform. And so this could be Facebook, this could be Instagram, this could be LinkedIn. Those are typically like some of the better tribe platforms. YouTube is great too, like as I'm here right now, but we use YouTube a little bit differently. I think Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, from my experience, are better to be able to attract a tribe because you can build more community with them, right? And so I just recently did a training on like the tribe funnel, so you could check that video out here in just when you're done with this. And there's the with that, you want to be able to drive traffic daily to your platform. So if you're on Facebook, you want to make sure you're following the Facebook rules of like being able to friend request. You can grow your group. You can even run ads to it. Instagram, you can run follow me ads. There's many different ways that you could do it on Instagram. Or if you want to have a way to grow your traffic daily, right? This is a skill set that you have to learn and a system that you have to develop, right? You want to have a content cadence in place where you know what kind of content. There's 4 types of content we teach. And that's going to be like connection content, where you're like sharing more lifestyle, value, belief type stuff, right? You're going to have influence content, where you're literally shifting somebody's perspective or belief on a common misconception or mistake that your audience is making. Then there's authority content, where you're teaching a little bit more how-tos type stuff. And then there's social proof content, where you're demonstrating social proof of the results that you get for people, right? So you want to have a good content cadence there. And then you want to run content campaigns. Again, I've done longer videos on this, but a content campaign is the system, right? This is the system to be able to produce predictable results, right? So this is where you're leading somebody to a conversion event, right? And this could be a live training. This could be a YouTube video like this. It could be a workshop. It could be a podcast episode. You want to lead them somewhere where you can have a strong call to action at the end. Does this make sense? And so what we typically do for our conversion events are live trainings, workshops, and sometimes we do like 2 to 3 day boot camps, teaching people content strategies and so forth, right? And then you want to get the skill of like having managing your pipeline and booking appointments. So for most coaching businesses, you're booking consultations and you're having you're turning them into sales calls and you're converting clients that way. So you want to make sure you have a system in place. We have a system called the 3-10-30 rule, where we know that if somebody's following my teachings, like I teach to my clients in Demand Coach, that if you DM 30 people who are engaging with your content, responding to your call to actions, and just like warm leads, you should have around 10 conversations with them. And if you're having 10 meaningful conversations a day, you should easily be able to book 3 calls a day, like 2 to 3 calls a day, right? And it's a system in place and there's skill sets behind it. So you see what I'm saying? The skill sets and the systems, we haven't even touched on mindset yet, right? And then of course there's sales calls to close people, tracking your KPIs so you know what's working, what's not working, so you could stay accountable to yourself and so you can make the necessary adjustments to your plan, to your funnel. You could, make your content better, make your call to actions better, make the hooks and the topics you're sharing like better, because you know what works if you're tracking your KPIs. Does this make sense? And so this is some of the truth around like the funnel, right? Now, so we've touched on like some of the more important skill sets and even systems, right? Your content conversion systems, your DM and appointment setting systems, your sales systems, right? We won't even get into right now, but just understand that you need to have like retention and renewal systems and even referral systems so you can keep people staying. You can increase the lifetime value of your clients and you can get new clients by the way of referral systematically, not just by hope, right? And so outside of that, here's what I've learned. The strategy, like learning skills is not super challenging. You just got to know what to do and focus on it and learn it. Right? Like applying systems, it's not super hard. You can learn how to do it. So the strategy, like learning the skills and systems, that's the easy part. The hard part is your psychology. It's the what goes in your head, right? The thinking, like how you manage your emotions. Like I see so many entrepreneurs that they literally allow their emotional states to crush them. They allow the anxiety, the fear, and all of these things to crush them. Right? And just like when I was flopping around in the Gulf of Mexico, like I literally thought I was going to die. At one point, I think this may have just happened. Maybe this is what happens before you die. I don't know, before you almost die. But I literally let go of all fear of everything. And I just put faith out there. I just put faith and I chose to be the cause. I chose to like be able to control what I can control. And when I let go, I was able to, the current was able to lift me up. So call that whatever. It was like a massive lesson. And so here you gotta like, how can you develop the right mindsets and the right thinking to be able to grow? Just like Napoleon Hill says, think and grow rich. Or Tony Robbins says, success is 80% psychology, 20% skills, right? And so here are some of the more important ones that I've learned along the way. Number one is focus, right? Your ability to say no to new shiny objects, so freaking key, right? Consistency, your ability to keep doing the thing no matter how boring or how discouraged you get. Well, I see so many amazing, talented humans. Maybe you're one of them. I see so many people, they start to get discouraged, they start to get bored, and they look for something new. Like, you'll never grow a successful business, and this is I told you, it's the cold hard truth today, right? If you don't actually like focus and develop consistency, like true consistency, like doing the thing despite boredom or discouragement. And then there's, of course, like I mentioned it before, but there's copywriting, right? Copywriting is a way of thinking as well as a skill, right? Because you have to learn like how to influence other people, how to use your words to influence another human, to persuade them to do something. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, it's going to be better for them, right? Not worse. And then there's, of course, coaching, learning how to not just build really good relationships with other human beings, but how to keep them clear and focused and moving forward so that they get amazing transformations, right? How to help shift their beliefs and their perspectives. Like, this is so fundamental. It's so key to be able to grow a successful coaching business, right? You've got to learn not just how to, help people, but like literally how to get them to think differently. Like, hopefully I'm helping to do right now for you. And then there's of course, leadership and delegation, which is a mindset and a skill set, right? The skill set is learning how to create simple SOPs, which stands for standard operating procedures. So you can hand off administrative work, editing work, things like that. And you can have somebody do the work the way you would do it so that your business starts to go up, not down, whenever you start to hand off stuff. Is that, you know what I mean? And it's also a mindset, because it's like, it is challenging when the business is your baby to have to hand stuff off to other people. So there's a big mindset in managing a team, right? So whether you have like one virtual assistant or you've got like multiple people, the way I look, the mindset I have behind managing a team is going to be like just as if you were coaching a client or helping like a really good friend get a result, right? Your team members are here to get a result as well. And so I like to set targets for them. I like to give them KPIs, key performance indicators, and then I coach them just like I would coach a client, so they're able to get to their goals, which help the company, your company, get to your company's goals as well, right? And then the last one I'll say on here, or the last two I'll say on here, there's probably way more I can go into, but relentless optimism. Being deeply focused on all the stuff that is working and not what's not working. Because if you're anything like me, I tend to go into a negative bias, right? So if I have a client cancel, or if I have, something quote unquote that goes on that is perceived as negative, I will go down that rabbit hole and allow it to like affect me. But this puts you on this like emotional roller coaster, which if you're an entrepreneur, it's normal because you're a human, but you just can't have, right? So developing that relentless optimism, which is a trained habit, it is a skill set too, to be able to like find what's working in things or look at the positive of things when you see negative, right? So if like a client cancels on you, instead of being like, oh my God, this is good, like, what lessons can you learn? Like, we don't need to be all like positive, like happy, go lucky about it. We just want to be neutral. We just want to be in a place of acceptance, right? So if you can look at the positive from a negative, most of the time it neutrals it out, right? It puts it right in the middle, and that's where we want to be. We don't want to feel any which way about it. And then the last one I'll say on here is intuition. Look, my friend, there is no perfect blueprint, right? You want to be, from my experience, you want to be working hard to learn the strategies that work, and then figuring out is what strategies should you straight up just model because they work. Why reinvent the wheel? And what's ones that you need to kind of adapt and adopt to be able to fit you and your strengths and your lifestyle and like what you want, right? Because if you try to copy a strategy too in depth, right, and it doesn't fit you, it's not going to work, right? So some strategies you might want to just adopt exactly, but some you may not. You might want to adapt and adopt for you. So use your intuition. And I like to just kind of sit with myself. Some people like to walk. Do whatever you got to do to get yourself present out of your head. And just like really listen to your gut. And you'll be able to tell. So, quick recap, right? Be the cause. Be the cause. This is the truth. Building an online business is not easy. It really isn't. But when you can be the cause, and to be the cause, you've got to learn, take control and learn the skill sets, learn the mindsets, and learn the systems to create the results that you want. That's how you take control over the effect, which is usually leads, clients, and money, right? And so you want to be able to dial in like the skills of offer creation, right? Building out a really easy social media tribe funnel, posting your content, getting good at the content creation, the copywriting, the sales processes, all that stuff, right? Your DMing, all of that jazz, right? Being able to get good at things like focus, all of the personal development stuff that we just talked about, right? You've got to be able to like not push that to the side, but focus on it. And that is the key, in my experience, to be able to build a wildly profitable coaching business. Let me know if you found this video helpful. Click the like. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Drop in the comment section what you found most impactful. I would love to know. As always, remember, your message matters now more than it ever has before. Don't be afraid to speak it. Be seen, be heard, and be impactful.